Nancy is sitting at the back. She's project manager for CAS. Have been working at refining this idea of YEESS and how we take the idea and make it practical and solutions focused, as opposed to just a nice conversation around problems. So we are not, you're going to see, we're not going to talk about the problems only today. We will talk solutions. And so for now, I just wanted to give Tilmann an opportunity to share some of why CAS is supporting this project. Tilmann,
yep.
Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Neil. I think that was a good start to the conference, and also you challenged Mr. Whitfield quite a lot, and I think I'm pretty sure that Neil will also share with him our findings of this day to send to him that he's still on board with our upcoming projects and that he's still committed and we have him on board. So thank you very much. On behalf of the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm very pleased to be here today, and I'm delighted to see many young people today from the areas from PE and from the surrounding areas. After having planned this event for 2016, now we have it here today. We at CAS, as well as our partners from CS Innovations, were all the way strongly committed to hold this important event here today in PE, and not in the economic hotspots of Gauteng, Cape Town or Durban, where most events are taking place. So in fact, YEESS is one of the very first and major initiatives of our foundation undertakes here in this city, so I'm proud to have it here in the Bay Area. But for something like this, you need local partners, and we found local partners like Neil, and Henry is sitting there at the back, you will meet him later. So we appreciate very much your work and your support in this, and you made it possible that we have the event here today in PE. Ladies and gentlemen, because the Konrad Adenauer Foundation is a foreign political foundation coming from Germany, I want to shortly also introduce you why we are here, what is the reasons, what are our aims and reason why we support events like this. And in a second step, if you give me some time, I will tell you a bit more about the German experience when it comes to youth unemployment and vocational training in special. So the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, you see our banner there. We are a German political foundation affiliated to a specific German political party, which is the CDU, the Christian Democratic Party, the political party of our Chancellor Angela Merkel at the moment. It is one of 6 German political foundations that are currently working here in South Africa. The system of political foundations is very special in Germany. You won't find it elsewhere around the world. It speaks to our context of having a very difficult past with the World War II and Nazi dictatorship in Germany, after which we invested a lot in Germany in strengthening civic education in our own democracy. And since then, apart from our work in Germany, we are supporting civic education and political education, social market economy, and the rule of law, not only in Germany, also worldwide, and now more than 90 countries. And in South Africa, we have our main offices in Joburg. We have a small office also in Cape Town, but we are working with partners basically all around in South Africa and in other neighboring countries. 2 aspects I would like to underline here. First, our work especially focuses on good governance and the promotion of social market economy. Usually we work here, and that's how we work, through local partner organizations. So we look out in the country, because we are not the experts coming from Germany to your country, we are looking for the expertise in your country. We found it in this regard with Neil and Henry's business here, but we have maybe around about 10-15 other partner organizations in South Africa, mainly from civil society, from academia and from businesses, who we support in their work and their mandate in these common areas of work. Secondly, and I also have to stress this a bit, we are a value-based foundation and share the basic values with our Christian Democratic sister party in Germany. However, financially and politically, we are neutral from this party, and we are funded by German taxpayers' money. That is also quite important to highlight. Coming to today, I mean, how necessary is it to focus here on youth employment? I don't have to stress this out, you know it better than I do. And when we are looking at the demographic situation, you know, the youth unemployment statistics, but you also, from a German perspective, we don't have such a young population like you have. More than half of the population is under 35. This means that youth will become, and are already, drivers of change in South Africa. That's also very different to Germany. But with an official youth unemployment rate of 37%, and I know practically we speak about rather 50 to 70%, you know this, and ongoing discussions about national youth policy, the context of the student protests, and the basic education system, which is quite challenging and bad, I must say. This topic needs to be addressed and must be a top priority of every South African stakeholder. Therefore, we at YEESS supporting projects around this theme of youth unemployment and social market economy in general. What we did, for example, in 2013, we organized a study trip, and we do this on a regular basis each year. We bring South Africans to Germany to bring them to Germany and to see how we deal with similar issues. And then we also benefiting of some of the insights from the South African delegates. We did this in 2013 with a trip on youth unemployment and vocational skills training to Germany, and Neil was one of the delegates of the successful study tour in 2013. And since then we are partnering in different projects, and this project stands as one outcome of this process. So this is quite good to see. Therefore, let me share a few learnings from this trip and from how we in Germany deal with the topic of youth unemployment. In Germany, we have this so-called dual system of vocational training, where school graduates are exposed to engineering, technological, electrical, building-related, agricultural, and other occupations. So, learning at such a vocational training school, and I know today, and it was very good to see, we are here at a similar place of learning here in this college here. Learning at the vocational training school in Germany is always a combination of an apprenticeship training at a host company, and then for 1 or 2 days a week you go for the learning institution and to do the theoretical part of your training. I think the success of some of our German world-famous companies in this field may be partly attributed to this partnership between the education sector and the private sector, because they work hand in hand in these initiatives. What is also notable about this dual track system is that public funding of vocational education in Germany amounts to only 55% of all funding in the sector in Germany, while private funding makes up the balance. This suggests considerable businesses and business confidence in the education provided. And its main practical feature, by the way, is also that you spend, as I mentioned, 1 or 2 days in the vocational school, and the rest of the week you're working in your standing company, which will pay you also for the days where you're going to school and learn the theoretical backgrounds. Because these companies are, in the end, benefiting from your education. And normally they also push you to sign long-standing, year-long contracts with them, because they want you to stay with them. They benefit from you after this education period, and therefore it's sometimes the other way around. They want to give you long-standing contracts with you, and that's where both of the two stakeholders benefiting. And yeah, this educational option, which I'm speaking about, exists in Germany for around 350 professions in the industry, agriculture, or civil service. So you find it in the banking, IT, hospitality, tourism, even hairdresser, tax accountant, assistants. Everywhere you see where there's a need to be trained in these specific regards. And this speaks also to the point one of the delegates raised regarding diversification. Because I think this diversification of the German vocational training with all these different sectors was one of the main factors or main supporting factors why we survived that well the financial crisis in the last years, because we do have a quite diversified economy and job market. And this system of vocational training plays a part in this, and it's very important to understand this. At the moment, for example, we have a 7% youth unemployment rate in Germany. And when you see what even in Spain or Italy, in Southern Europe, they go also in the same amount like you do in South Africa with 30 to 60% or something like this. So I believe that this system in Germany is quite an interesting one. And based also on the success of the German vocational training, the system has also been introduced to South Africa, amongst others, through influencers, through German organizations like German Development Corporation, the GIZ. They are working in some parts of the country already to support your VET and TVET colleges in South Africa. Also in PE, there's the PE college where the GIZ is quite active with training, giving training in mechatronics. So there's still something happening in this country. Where I see the main challenge is to convince really the businesses to partake into this in South Africa. Because in Germany it's a bit easier with a well-developed industry and with less unemployment rates to convince getting money from the business side. So let me point out this very clearly. Artisans in Germany are doing very well and are needed in our economy. Not every German student ends up in employment, but almost everybody with a vocational training background does. Maybe this brings me also to a point which needs to be addressed, and again let me be very clear here, not everybody needs to study. In Germany only approximately 25% of each cohort, each annual cohort of young learners are allowed to study at all in Germany at full universities. But much more people, approximately 75% of each cohort, have the chance to study at a vocational training school or University of Applied Sciences. And this opens up and steers in some kind the graduates and the job market. And this is not at all an education of second class. Here, a nationwide and worldwide respected artisans and engineers are educated in Germany. But why? Crucial here is that every national education system must be driven by the needs of the economy and the market economy. And here again I can only report what was successful in Germany. The strong connection and relation between the private sector and these vocational training schools and universities of applied sciences. So when I look at the statistics in your country, 900,000 university graduates each year, which cannot be absorbed in the market at the moment. 600,000 unemployed university graduates in your country. 50 to 60% of students of higher learning institutions drop out during their first year of studies. This can't be accepted by any state. So my plea today is not only about restructuring the higher education system more according to a market-based analysis. It is also about strengthening the willingness of young people to work, for example, in other sectors which are not fashionable, like, for example, the agricultural sector. Here, for example, in the agricultural sector, the contributions to South Africa's GDP needs a sound young base. It also must provide employment for the South African population. Increased productivity in agriculture ensures food security and contributes immensely to the health and well-being of all. There is therefore the need to develop more strategic intervention and approaches to attract the youth to this particular sector, in my view, particularly youth in the informal sector. So, in general, young people in South Africa needs to be inspired and encouraged. And this is one of the topics of today. And dear participants, dear colleagues, following the long history of German-South African cooperation in helping to address and solve economic and social issues nationwide and in PE, we look forward to your input and participation to say yes today to a collaborative partnership and youth that are engaged, enterprising and evolving. So now I would like to wish you all a fruitful and deliberate engagement today. Thanks for your attention, and dear Neil, I'm looking forward to today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Tilmann. In 2013, when we went to Germany, I told you last night that one of the